Welcome to the Kiepersol, Texas podcast. My name is Michael Roth, and today I'm out in the vineyard with Alex Lee,
Hello.
who is assistant winemaker and has been here, 6 years now?
Yeah.
You originally started off over in the restaurant, correct?
That's right, yeah.
And then became tasting room manager for a while, and then now you've been working in the winery for quite a while.
Yeah.
How's life going in the winery?
Oh, it's going great. We're finishing up our bottling season right now. We're looking forward to some pre-harvest, and so far the harvest season has been really great for us. The way the grapes are growing, really looking forward to that. It's our next big step.
Yeah. So what are we thinking? About a month from now in July, or when do you think we'll start harvesting?
Hopefully as far away as possible, but I know I can't put it that far off. Thinking about midway through July, so I guess it's about a month away now.
Okay, awesome. What are you most excited about this vintage?
This vintage, some of our white wines and rosés, we had a couple of unexpected things coming, and then the getting to work with some of the red wines, especially on the color and texture. I think this year is going to be something to really look forward to.
Okay, awesome. Well, we have some wine here that we're actually releasing today as of the recording of this podcast, and we've got a White Zin here and our Vit.
2018 Vit.
Yeah, so it's 2018 vintage. So these are both is White Zinfandel technically a white wine, or what is it? Is it rosé?
Well, we call it technically a rosé, but most commonly referred to as a blush wine.
Okay.
This usually will fit into what white wine drinkers will usually end up enjoying as far as style. But really great time for either of these wines getting into the summer. Beautiful day out here today too.
Yeah.
To come out and try these. But the White Zinfandel, I'm really excited for this one. Really love the color, especially. It's really juicy. We're gonna try it. It's hard to put this one down whenever you have it. It's like strawberry-kiwi even in there.
Wow. Yeah. Sounds really good.
Yeah. I was really happy with the way this one turned out.
I know a lot of people like White Zinfandel. It's typically their go-to when they go to the grocery store. So
yeah, you can't go wrong. If you're a fan of any White Zinfandel out there, highly recommend trying ours. I think we do an awesome rendition of it. It's just all of those plus some more.
So what is White Zinfandel? Is it a blend? Is it a what?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So White Zinfandel, you see that pink color that it's working with, it comes from the Red Zinfandel grape. Whenever we're trying to make a blush wine, we take the red grape and we treat it kind of like we do a white wine. We only leave it on with those red skins for just a few hours, just enough to get the nice pink lush color and a lot of that really nice juicy flavor, and then we press it away and treat it like a white wine from there on. So that's where you get a lot of that nice juicy White Zinfandel color and flavor from.
White Zinfandels, are they traditionally just a sweet wine or?
Almost always.
Okay.
And whenever we say a rosé or blush, specifically blush generally will mean a sweeter rosé wine, whereas rosé as a term can be pretty across the board, but will often lean towards the drier side.
Okay.
But as far as White Zinfandel goes, I have never tried a dry White Zinfandel. Doesn't sound like something I would enjoy either, because it just makes such a wonderful sweet wine. With this one, White Zinfandel, you can do with a lot of summer foods actually. So this is a great picnic wine. A lot of really light salads like with strawberries that you have on top of it. I like to put this one next to some salmon or even some lighter whitefish as well. And it can surprisingly go really well with some spicy foods. This next one we were talking about especially, but the sweetness can really pair nicely with some if you had a jalapeno kind of relish, it'll go really nice with that.
Okay, so like a nice bratwurst with relish or hot dog.
Yeah,
spicy hot dog.
It could be pretty fatty next to it, but all together it can make a really lush, light experience. This is the 2018 Kiepersol Vit, one of my favorite wines for the spring into summer, so this time of year. We made this wine to style after a Riesling, which is a type of grape out there that we don't personally grow, but we still were really big fans of this type of wine, so we made this to be something similar to that. Vit actually means white in Afrikaans, so here at Kiepersol, a very South African inspired place. So this is actually what we call a proprietary blend. And what that means is it's a blend that will almost always be different every year, but we're always going for the same end results. So it's if you come up to the tasting room or ask what's in it, well, you generally won't have an answer for that, only because it's something we can't keep consistent. We want the flavors to be consistent, but whatever goes inside of it is always something different. So we always wanted you to enjoy whatever, or be have something that you can look forward to that's going to be consistent.
So if I understand correctly, basically we're taking different types of grapes, we're blending it each year to try to get a specific flavor.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And every year, with the growing season, is always something a little bit different. So it's nearly impossible to have the exact same stuff that goes into this.
Okay. What should we expect out of the 2018?
So 2018 here, another one that I'm really excited for. We really wanted to get that nice, crisp, clean, fresh Riesling feel to it. And Rieslings can be all over the board whenever you're dealing with that. And as a Riesling style, this one is more onto the semi-sweet Riesling. For the drier drinkers like myself out there, this is still really, really great because of how fresh and crisp it tends to be, but not too biting at all like some of the extremely dry wines out there can be. So it's a perfect balance of your acidity and your sweetness, and it's an excellent food wine as well. We were talking about spicy foods there earlier. This one can go very well with like Thai food or Indian food. But here in Texas, whenever you've got your peppers with even your fatty foods, that acid really helps balance it out there.
For those that maybe don't know what a Riesling is, maybe they're familiar with a Moscato. How does that compare to a Moscato?
Yeah. So a Moscato is definitely going to be one on the sweeter, and especially for you out there that enjoy our wines. This one is going to be about half as sweet, so not quite as floral or just not quite nearly as jammy or sweet as that one is. You're going to trade that out for some really nice crisp acidity. That's the biggest difference. So not nearly as sweet out there for your very sweet drinkers out there, but not too terribly on the dry. It's really nicely balanced right between those two.
Okay. I know you recently spent some time, kind of researching and learning over Napa Valley.
Yeah.
How do we compare to Napa Valley? I know we're completely different terroir, completely different climate and region.
Oh yeah.
So what would you say is our biggest distinction between us and Napa Valley?
Comfort, I'd say, in style. It's southern comfort. Is a lot to it. Here in Texas, we really, and especially here in Kiepersol, we really like to create a wine that you don't have to fight through. One that you can enjoy and be comfortable with and still stylistically recognize what you're still having. Whereas in California, they really like the bold and the beefy, to be really pronouncing it. I had a lovely time out there, a really wonderful wine out there, but really proud in how distinctive our wines are in comparative to them.
Why should people try Texas wines?
We are one of the fastest growing regions in the world, and for a good reason. 20 years ago when we were first established, it's our 20 years right now too.
Yeah.
20 years ago we were the 34th winery in the entire state here. Now there are over 400, and all that growth is for a good reason. People are finding out there are good grapes, there are good wines out here. And putting aside any perceived notion of like, well, it's Texas, it can't be all that good, can't be all that good. These are wines that are different. These with that terroir, with that comfort that you get in our wines, those are notably something that you won't find in other places. So if only to try it, just to try something new, I'd recommend it. But beyond that, these are some of the most comfortable wines that you can enjoy. So it's worth it beyond just trying to try something new.
Okay, so other than Kiepersol, I mean, do you have maybe another favorite Texas wine that you would recommend to people?
I'm a big fan of what Texas can do in the port category, actually. There's some of the sweeter dessert wines. There's one down near Houston, Hack Winer, that makes a wonderful port over there. Some of the well-established ones, too, around Texas here, Messina Hoff, William Chris, they all make wonderful wines. Fredericksburg, pretty much anything, you can walk down the street in Fredericksburg and it'll be hard-pressed not to find a wine that you'll enjoy.
Well, and some of our neighbors have actually just opened up locations, down there, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Congrats to Los Pinos.
Yeah.
So, that's awesome, you guys. Excited for you, and it's amazing to see a lot of our neighbors growing and East Texas growing as a region. And are we afraid as winemakers, as a vineyard, as farmers, that other wineries are popping up in East Texas?
Not at all. So it's back in when I was managing the tasting room here, you'd have people come in every once in a while. I remember one gentleman came in, he's just trying to egg me and say, oh, hey, so who's the biggest competition around here? And I had to tell a guy it's perception. It's the perception of Texas wine. So None of our neighbors are our competition. If you want to have a great wine, go down to M6, go over to Enoch Stop, go over to Pelelania. We want all these people to be good, because if any of them are bad, it looks bad on all of us as a region. So nobody is our competition here in Texas. Everybody we want to do well.
If you're in Louisiana and Oklahoma and out of state, out of Texas, come visit us. You know, we got the bed and breakfast. Come stay with us. We got an RV park. If you've got an RV, you know, come stay with us. Come try some of our wines. Come visit some of our neighboring wineries. And not to mention, I mean, look at this view, guys.
Yeah.
This is, we're blessed enough to be able to come to this every day and be able to see this. Obviously, we're mid-June, and so we've still got some grapes kind of growing here, and we quite haven't had veraison. Do you mind, actually, let's talk about that. One week from today is actually,
so that's a really exciting point. So from right here, if any of you guys happen to come out this week, come back out here in a week or two, and you'll see
June 21st.
June 21st, right? Whenever the solstice happens, the grapes up until that point are just growing and growing and growing and collecting every bit of nutrients that they can. Then when they notice that the sun isn't out nearly as long, they start converting all of those nutrients into those sugars and into the color. Whenever you're working with a red grape, these ones actually that we're standing in right now, you'll see all of these green grapes starting to turn purple in the next few weeks. And all of our white grapes will go from a green to a kind of a yellow over the next few weeks. It's a really cool, exciting time, and it starts to taste better. They definitely don't taste great yet. They're very, very sour and astringent at the moment, but come out here in a few weeks and they'll be much better.
Well, you know, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Oh, absolutely.
Would you be willing to come back and maybe talk about some other wines later?
Yeah, absolutely. If you can pull me out of the cellar that I had out.
Yeah. I know this next month will be pretty busy for you. But,
Yeah,
we'll definitely have you back on, and we'll start breaking down some of our wines, maybe geek you out a little.
Yeah,
so, all right.
I love these things. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, feel free to follow us and on Instagram, on Facebook. Let us know if you have any other questions, you know, for Alex or for myself or Marnell or anybody here. We want to answer your questions if you have any. But yeah, thanks again for tuning in, and see you guys next time.